Jai Maharaj, obeisances. Unless you have a in-house kirtan band, I'll start kirtan.
Nobody. I've got nobody.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Puri Rajakacharya Ashtotar Sati Shri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Shri Navadip Dham Ki Jai Ganga Mayi Ki Jai Jamuna Mayi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhaktivinoda ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, and welcome everyone to Sri Caitanya Charitamrita with His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami. It is Thursday, March 27th, 2025 in New York, and according to my notes, we are picking up with Adi-lila, chapter 13 and text number 33. Last we read how with the spread of the consciousness movement, everyone, so starting tonight with 33. And please, anyone who would like to read and comment, please let me know, either using your audio or chat or however you'd like to do it. We'd love to hear from you. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Chabishavatsara Aiche Navadvipa Grame. Layo Yaila Sarvaloke Krishna Prema Name. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lived in the Navadvip area for 24 years, and he induced every person to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and thus merge in love of Krishna. Chabishavatsara Chila Kariya Sannyasa Bhakta Gana Lanya Kaila Nila Chalivasa. For his remaining 24 years, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after accepting the renounced order of life, stayed at Jagannath Puri with his devotees. Taramadye Nila Chale Chayavatsara Nitya Gita Prema Bhakti Dana Nirantara. For 6 of these 24 years in Nilachala, Jagannath Puri, he distributed love of Godhead by always chanting and dancing. Setu Bandha Ara Gauda Vyapi Brindavan Premanama Pracharya Karila Brahman. Beginning from Cape Comorin and extending through Bengal to Vrindavan, during these 6 years, he toured all of India, chanting, dancing, and distributing love of Krishna. E Madhya Lila Nama Lila Mukhya Dhama Shesha Ashtadasha Varsha Antya Lila Nama. The activities of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his travels after he accepted sannyas are his principal pastimes. His activities during his remaining 18 years are called the Adi-lila, or the final portion of his pastimes. Taramadhye Chayavatsara Bhakta Gana Sange Prema Bhakti Layo Yaila Nitya Gita Range. For 6 of the 18 years he continuously stayed in Jagannath Puri, he regularly performed kirtan, inducing all the devotees to love Krishna simply by chanting and dancing. Dvadashavatsara Shesha Rahila Nilachale Premavasta Shikaila Ashvadhanachale. For the remaining 12 years he stayed in Jagannath Puri. He taught everyone how to taste the transcendental mellow ecstasy of love of Krishna by tasting it himself. Before we read the purport, Maharaj wants to know if the audio sounds uneven to others, or is it just his connection? Let's see if we need to adjust. Oh, so the audio is uneven. Hmm. Hmm. Breaking up on my end. Okay. Sorry to hear it. Maybe what I'll need to do is sign out and sign in again. Hare Krishna. Sorry for the disappointing audio performance here. Let's see what can be done. If for whatever reason you're not able to get back on immediately, please just sign back in and we'll go from there. Hare Krishna. Actually, we can maintain the integrity of this meeting if I just give the host, Maharaj, I'm just going to make you the host for a moment, and then I'm going to leave myself and then sign back in.
Okay.
Okay, so Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Sounds good
So we're okay.
so far.
Let us see. So now reading. Oh, recording stopped. Let's not stop that recording. Okay, we're back. So now reading the purport. A person who is advanced in Krishna consciousness always feels separation from Krishna because such a feeling of separation excels. There's problems?
Yeah, it was breaking up again, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Network issues somehow.
All right. Let's see. The best thing to do. Would you, Maharaj,
Yeah,
would you be
I'll
able
just
to read this purport and while I try to see what I can do on my
I'll take over for now. A person who is advanced in Krishna consciousness always feels separated from Krishna. Okay. I guess we'll carry on with or without recording. A person who's advanced in Krishna consciousness always feels separation from Krishna because such a feeling of separation excels the feeling of meeting Krishna. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in his last 12 years of existence within this world at Jagannath Puri, taught the people of the world how, with a feeling of separation, one can develop his dormant love of Krishna. Such feelings of separation or meeting with Krishna are different stages of love of Godhead. These feelings develop in time when a person seriously engages in devotional service. The highest stage is called Prema Bhakti, but this stage is attained by executing sadhana bhakti. One should not try to elevate himself artificially to the stage of Prema Bhakti without seriously following the regular principles of sadhana bhakti. Prema Bhakti is the stage of relishing, whereas sadhana bhakti is the stage of improving in devotional service. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught this cult of devotional service in full detail by practical application in his own life. It is said, therefore, apani achuri bhakti shikaimu shobhare. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself in the role of a Krishna bhakta, a devotee of Krishna. He instructed the entire world how one can execute devotional service and thus go back home, back to Godhead in due course. Om Gyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Mahyam Dadhati Shapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jatapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Shagrajatam Shahagana Raghunathan Vitam Stam Sajivam Shadvaitam Shavadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Shahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhan Vitamstra. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Deen Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Brindavaneshwari Prashabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Ori Priye Manchako Patarubhyascha Kripa Sindhobhyevacha Patitan Nam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. So here, this is the target, the perfection, prema bhakti, the relishing of devotional service in pure love for Krishna. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught this by his personal example. So we should aspire for this, but we shouldn't imitate this. Prabhupada said the prema bhakti is the stage of relishing, ashvadana, and the practice stage or the stage of improving is sadhana. So one shouldn't try to artificially jump to the stage of prema bhakti or somehow or other just put one's foot on the, as they say, on the floor of the accelerator and somehow or other crash into prema bhakti. But one should seriously follow the principles of sadhana bhakti and preaching Krishna consciousness. We were reading the other night that by preaching one does the service most pleasing to Krishna. So one has to patiently follow the principles of sadhana and yet aspire for that higher stage. What is that? Balite, Gauranga Balite, Albe, Pulaka Shani. Narottam Das Thakur is praying, when will that day come when I'll be situated on the stage of love, when just by chanting the name of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, tears will come and there'll be shivering of the body, choking of the voice. These are signs of love for Krishna. So Narottam Das Thakur doesn't say, whenever I chant the name of Lord Gauranga, I experience all these things. He teaches us that we should think, when will that day come? When will that day come? So we should aspire for that day, but not pretend that we've arrived. Yes. But we shouldn't pretend, but we should know that the sadhana stage is not the perfection. The sadhana stage is the stage of improving, or Prabhupada sometimes calls it the probational stage. So we're in the probational stage, but it's not that This is perfection, to be on probation. We want to actually be situated in perfection, but genuinely, not officially. There's a comment there, which I can't read.
I can read it unless my audio fails me once again. Prabhin Krishna Prabhu says, we know within the Bhakti and Raganuga, some quote experts
Nope, you're
say that
failing
Prabhupada.
you again.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's still there. Could you read that?
I can join the Zoom or I can look on the laptop, which one's most convenient.
Well, I guess the most convenient instant thing is for you to read it from the laptop.
The audio, yes, here. Praveen, we know within the sadhana bhakti we have vidhi and raganuga. Some, quote, experts say that Prabhupada gave us vidhi, rules and regulations, bhakti, and raganuga has to be attained for if we really want to Goloka, I'm assuming really want to go to Goloka, and not risk ending up in Vaikuntha. I don't see a question mark, so.
I get it, though. Yes. We don't want to stay in sadhana only, and we don't want to stay in the lower stage of sadhana. We want to go to the higher stages. But the idea that Prabhupada only gave us the preliminary stage is either just false propaganda or misunderstanding. It's not that the spiritual master has to touch you on the head and then you get prema bhakti or you get raganuga, or that he has to meet with you in a, in a quiet, in a grove of Vrindavan someplace, or in a cave or a dark room or something, and initiate you into the secrets of raganuga. Everything's there in the instructions of the spiritual master, and for one who sincerely follows, everything will be achieved. Prabhupada made that clear on many occasions. The Siddha Pranali people and some of our friends on the banks of a certain kund think that you have to be directly given bhaganuga or prema. Your identity has to be revealed to you. So many things have to happen. But Prabhupada taught us the opposite, that the seed is given, bhakti lata bij, by the spiritual master. And if you water the seed, you'll get the fruit. It's not that here you've got the seed, you've got the water, but you need somebody else to do something else, or you won't get fruit. If you keep the seed in the right place and you water it and you fence it in against aparabs, and you'll get the fruit. You'll get the fruit. And it's not that some esoteric process has to take place in which someone intervenes and makes sure that you don't miss out. That's a misunderstanding of what Prabhupada gave us, a misunderstanding the process of devotional service. We don't find anywhere that Prabhupada said that, I was initiated in 19 such and such, and then, after at such and such time, I was initiated into some higher thing, or it was disclosed to me, this, that. You don't find that. You find that Prabhupada faithfully followed the instructions of his spiritual master, chanted Hare Krishna, did everything, and in particular tried to dedicate himself to spreading the mission of his spiritual master. So are we to think that, well, no, he was just doing some kind of work, but he couldn't have attained any higher stage because he didn't get something. He never went to Radhakund to receive something from somebody. It's nonsense, and frankly, it's offensive. We should understand that everything is there, and if we follow sincerely, associate with devotees, yes, that's required. Not that just on my own, I'll go to a secret place, and that's another problem. One idea is that my spiritual master's instructions aren't enough, and then the other idea is that no, I have to be on my own. All I need is the instructions of my spiritual master, and then I go off and chant, and that's also not the idea. But one should do everything. Sadhu Sangha, Krishna Seva, Bhagavata, Nam, Rajabhas, everything. Hare Krishna.
So these experts that Praveen was referring to, he's referring to, I suppose with air quotes, these people because they look down on Prabhupada for the process.
Well, I don't know if they explicitly look down on Prabhupada, but I'm pulling that out of the attitude, that Prabhupada didn't give us this. And I'm going back, well, did Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati at some point, bequeath on Prabhupada Prema Bhakti? Did he meet him in a solitary place, somewhere, and give him the real thing, which only comes in that sort of meeting? No. And then, so does that mean that he wasn't situated on the highest level? So they don't, nobody these days will explicitly trivialize Prabhupada, but or diminish Prabhupada, but indirectly, when they minimize his instructions, that's not very good.
I'm assuming, I'm curious, a lot of these experts are scholarly people or learned people, so on and so forth, which implies that they've learned through a process. That's exactly what Prabhupada gave us: systematic, takes time, it takes patience, there's no magic. So what's the attraction for us as people to look for some kind of magic pill?
Well, we want a shortcut. We want, we're very eager, and so the idea appeals to us that we could reach quickly, or there's a contamination of pride there. The commercials, they used to be the first one on your block to, and then you're ahead of everyone else. The first one who got an iPhone 32 or whatever it is. So that can be there also, that, I got something that you didn't get. I went to such and such person, and he gave me such and such, which you don't have, but you can get, so that it can either be pride or illusion or just eagerness, but an eagerness that so eager that we jump the gun. And then there may be those who actually achieve these higher states. That's also there. But we're not very confident that those who take some special esoteric process achieve very high states, especially when we've seen it over the years, and we've seen that from the very high state they crash, which is not a sign of pure love for Krishna. Sorry, did we get? Oh, Praveen has a part 2, and then we'll come to Saraswati. Is Ross online? No, Ross is not.
I've turned my video off, hoping that will help my audio. Does it help the audio at all?
So far, we're good.
So Praveen Krishna Prabhu says, for example, it is mentioned for Raganugas that they meditate or follow Raga plus Anuga on a particular Ragatmika personality of Goloka Vrindavan, like Yashoda Mata, and do the internal bhakti meditating / following on that personality. Prabhupada did not give any such process if I understand properly.
Now, Prabhupada gave that process. It's mentioned in the Nectar of Devotion, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Prabhupada explained that process. But that process comes not artificially. One develops a natural attraction for the service performed by a particular devotee in Vrindavan. It's not that, again, we can't just whimsically pick it up by some, what's the word? By some artificial process or by some just wishful thinking. And again, that purport that I've quoted so often in Nectar of Devotion, that devotional service is not a kind of sentimental speculation. But its essence is practical activity, the service of Krishna. That's love. Love is not just a sentiment, but it's shown by one's practical activity in the service of Krishna. So Prabhupada gave us this, and it's bona fide. It's not that, no, don't follow in the footsteps of any, don't latch on to any particular, no. That's not bona fide, that's sahaja. No, this is legitimate. But how does it come? It's not a cheap thing. It's not an ordinary thing. It comes on its own as one matures in devotional service. One develops a particular kind of attraction for the service performed by Krishna's associate in a particular relationship. But Prabhupada emphasized that we should be very strong in our sadhana, strong in our service. And then these things will come. Not that I'll, what's the word, sort of put my regular service on the shelf and go off somewhere and develop Gopi Bhav or Sakya Bhav or what have you. It comes for the fortunate person who's mature. Then we have Saraswati waiting.
Parampuji Maharaj and all the Vaishnavas. Maharaj, sometimes when we're making a comment, whether it's in a Bhagavatam class or this class, you sort of are really conscious that you're saying something and repeating something that you've heard correctly. And I just wanted to share that in a Bhagavatam, local Bhagavatam class here, the topic was about how merciful Krishna and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are compared to the other avatars, and the greatest fortune that the Vrajvasis have, especially the gopis. So I had just made the comment that, the Vrajvasis there, it's a spontaneous devotional service, and as the topic that we're discussing right now, the Raganuga Prema bhav that they have, and the rasas that they have that you don't see in the other spiritual planets, even up to Ayodhya. And I was just saying that even in Ayodhya, Lord Ramchandra is very merciful, and Srila Prabhupada in the purport we were reading had commented, but yet he wasn't as accessible as was Krishna. And of course, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was the most merciful. But somebody got really upset, and then they were saying, well, I know this this movement and this parampara, it's all about the gopis. Not all of us want to be gopis, but that wasn't even my comment. I was just repeating how Lord Ramananda Raya, the conversation he had with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, pointed out that, yes, the gopis there is a hierarchy, and they are sitting at the top in terms of the love that they have. But this devotee got really upset and said, I know Srila Prabhupada and the movement, it's all about the gopis. Not all of us want to worship Krishna in the gopi bhav, but that wasn't my point. And he said, my Ishtadev is Lord Ramchandra, and how could you say something like this? But it wasn't like I wanted to be offensive or insult. I was just recalling what I had read. So I don't know, Maharaj, sometimes I feel like, I should just keep my mouth shut. I don't know what advice you would have for me. Hare Krishna.
First, one technical thing. The spirit in which the Brajbasis serve Krishna is not Raganuga Bhakti, but it's called Ragatmika Bhakti. Ragatmika Bhakti is attachment to Krishna in a particular mood of pure love. And Raga Anuga means following those perfect devotees of Goloka Vrindavan. Yes, so there's a distinction. The direct associates of Krishna, they're in Ragatmika, and others are aspiring Raganuga to follow in the footsteps of those devotees. Well, yes, then when we say something, there's always the risk of being misunderstood and then having the position attacked that we never took. That possibility is there. And then on the other side, that we have to appreciate that everyone has his own taste, and for every devotee and every taste, their taste is the highest. It's although Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching through the mouth of Ramananda Roy that the highest love is the love of the gopis. The other devotees and other relationships will feel that their love is the best. Hanuman doesn't think, well, if only I could be a gopi, then my life would be successful. He's forever situated in perfection of loving Lord Ramchandra, in the mood of a servant. The friends of Krishna aren't thinking that, well, we're only second class, we didn't get Gopi Bhav. Every devotee and every relationship is perfect. One of the, it's famous that when Prabhupada was confronted with the so-called Gopi Bhava Club in Los Angeles, where the devotees only wanted to hear about the love expressed by the gopis, they made some disparaging comment about, well, the comment that directly or indirectly disparaged the love of devotees in Vatsalya Ras, like Yashodamai. And Prabhupada became even more, he was already angry and he became even more angry that somehow Yashodamai's love was second class or what have you. So we have to respect the love cultivated by others. Yasman no dvijate loko lokan no dvijate jayara. Harsha marsha bayod vegar suyukta sat sukhi. In the Moto G Pure, you're probably, yeah, okay, there you go. So the devotee doesn't agitate the minds of others, and his mind doesn't get agitated also if others are agitating. So somehow or other we have to adjust things. Hare Krishna.
We have a comment or question in the chat from Praveen Krishna Prabhu. What if even after years of following the rules and regulations, we do not see any such sentiment developing in our hearts? Do we risk going to Vaikuntha?
We were reading yesterday that even if we just follow the pure devotee, then we'll go with him. We're depending on that. We're depending on that. It depends on one's aspiration also. If one's aspiration is just to serve the Lord in awe and reverence, well, then one may go to Vaikuntha. But if one is aspiring for this spontaneous love, then one may receive that mercy.
All right, Krishna. So we can move on, I think. I don't see any more comments. If I can be heard, okay, I wanted to say if Philip Prabhu wants to read some text until we get to a purport with text 41, that would be nice.
You can be heard from there.
Okay. Can you guys hear me well?
This guy can.
Haribo. Thank you, Prabhu. All right. Text 40. Ratri Divase Krishna Virahas Purana Unmadera Chesta Kade Pralapa Vachan. Translation. Day and night, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu felt separation from Krishna. Manifesting symptoms of this separation, he cried and talked very inconsistently, like a madman. Shri Radhara Pralapayaiche Udava Darshane Saimata Unmada Pralapa Karera Tridine. As Srimati Radharani talked inconsistently when she met Uddhava, so also Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu relished, both day and night, such ecstatic talk in the mood of Srimati Radharani. Purport. In this connection, one should refer to Srimati Radharani's soliloquy after meeting Uddhava in Vrindavan. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu presented a similar picture of such ecstatic imaginary talking, full of jealousy and madness symptomizing neglect by Krishna. Srimati Radharani, criticizing a bumblebee, talked just like a madwoman. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the last days of his pastimes, exhibited all the symptoms of such ecstasy. In this connection, one should refer to the 4th chapter of the Adi-lila, verses 107 and 108.
This is described in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, or in Krishna book. Give me a little on that flask and that little Tori, that little small small one. Yeah, and flask there. Flask. Yeah. Uddhava came to deliver a message from Krishna after he'd left Vrindavan. And when Uddhava came and was meeting with the gopis, Radharani was seen talking with a bumblebee, which she perceives to be trying to touch her lotus feet. And she began speaking like a madwoman, displaying different kinds of talk, Atijalpa, Prajalpa, there are different names, some of them which having no equivalent word in the English language. She was saying to the bee, oh, you've come to take me to Krishna, but I don't want anything to do with you. Your whiskers have been picked up the red kumkum from flowers of on Krishna's garland that become reddish from the kumkum on decorating the breasts of some woman who's my competitor, and now you expect me to come with you. Well, I don't want anything to do with you. You're the unreliable servant of an unreliable master. You're just like Krishna. He goes from a bee goes from one flower to another flower tasting, and doesn't stick to anyone. So Krishna's like that. He just wants to taste some enjoyment. So he meets with one girl and then he goes somewhere else. So he's you're the natural messenger for a person like that because you both have the same mentality. So I don't want anything to do with you. And the Acharyas have commented that perhaps she was indirectly commenting on Uddhava and criticizing Uddhava. But all the Acharyas say that she was essentially mad, or speaking like she was mad out of love for Krishna. And then the bee flew away, and then she thought, oh no, he's gone to tell Krishna everything that I've said. And then she was lamenting. And then the bee came back. So then she was very careful to be very respectful. Oh, your Krishna is so kind. He sent you back to me. But how will you take me back? You're such a small creature. Anyway, and so on and on it was going in this way, speaking like a crazy person. We see this sometimes if we meet someone who's really lost their sense, become mad, then they speak incoherently. They say things that don't make any sense at all. But except to them somehow it all fits together, but to anyone else it'll appear crazy. So Srimati Radharani was speaking in that way due to love for Krishna, due to the highest stage of love and separation from Krishna. Srimati Radharani was speaking in that way. And so Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also was in the Gambhira, in his quarters at Jagannath Puri. He'd be feeling these same feelings and speaking in a similar disconnected way. Earlier, he was having erudite conversations with Prakashananda Saraswati, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, or defeating great intellectuals like the Kashmiri Pandit. But now he's talking just like a crazy person in his final years. Hare Krishna.
Praveen Krishna Prabhu writes, soliloquy is a literary device used in drama. It is a speech that reveals a character's internal thoughts, motivations, or plans. Characters usually deliver soliloquies while they are alone, but if other characters are present, they remain silent and appear to be unaware that the character is talking. The word soliloquy comes from the Latin solus, alone, and loci, to speak.
Thank you.
Saraswati Mataji writes, this bumblebee is most fortunate to inspire in Radharani such feelings, crazy or mad.
Hare Krishna. Maharaj, is my audio clear enough? Am I coming through? I had made a few notes just to go back a couple of verses on our initial verse, when Prabhupada says, talking about the difference between sadhana and prema bhakti, he makes the point of saying these feelings develop in time when a person seriously engages in devotional service. And I'm very grateful to you for once upon a time taking us through the What Are the Four Regulative Principles series of classes, where we really know in detail what the principles are. And because you also said tonight, we need to be strong in our sadhana, strong in our service. So admittedly, we have a high demand religion, but the tendency is understandably strong to look for a loophole, a shortcut, as you say. But it's so important that we need to be strict with ourselves and perform what the kind of devotional service that Srila Kaviraj Goswami would characterize as chamatkara, or wonderful to behold.
What you're saying reminded me that by bhajana kriya, or performance of devotional service, following the principles given by the bona fide spiritual master, one comes to an artha nivritti, the extinguishing of contamination, unwanted things within the heart. Then one can go on to the higher stages, nishta, ruchi, and bhava, prema. But if one hasn't passed anartha nivritti, then what kind of prema will one get? It will just be a projection of anarthas. And it'll be a mixing of one's, shall we say, sincere aspirations for the higher stages with anarthas that one has not yet freed oneself from. So one has to genuinely pass the stage, surpass the stage of anartha nivritti in order to get to the higher stages. Otherwise, Prabhupada had a memorable phrase that otherwise, like the Prakriti Sahajas, one will be dragging mud into transcendence. The mud comes from the anarthas, and one may be aspiring for the higher stages, but one can't bring that mud with one. So therefore, in time, Prabhupada said, in time means it takes some time to cleanse the heart. And in the purified heart, these things will manifest. Vishuddha sattva, in pure goodness, not as a result of passion or goodness mixed with passion and ignorance. Yes.
Thank you very much, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Thank
I'm
you.
also reminded of Prabhupada saying, first deserve, then desire.
Yes, first deserve, then desire. So deserve means, at the least, to get free from these anarthas, these unwanted things. And that's not a small project. And we should be careful not to be overconfident that, yes, my anarthas are all gone. So now the pure devotees never think, yes, now I'm free from all anarthas. What is that? Bhakti Vinod is praying that how is that song go? He's submitting his disqualifications. Mithya Bhashi, and so on. I'm always speaking lies. I'm happy when at the Paradukha Sukhi, when others are miserable, I become happy. So Prabhupada said he's sincerely feeling that way. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Our next verse is going to be quite long. I think we'll save it for next week and pause for kirtan. Priti Purnamadavi Devi has a question, though. She says, Hare Krishna Maharaj, for someone to become Shiksha Guru, does the Anartha Nivritti stage need to be crossed?
To become Shiksha Guru, does the Anartha stage need to be crossed? Ideally, yes, but no. Even we hear that just if someone gives some good instruction, he may not be the most advanced devotee, but he's giving the right instruction received from the bona fide source. So we can take advantage of that and respect that, and respect that person for giving us that. Not that, no, if you're not on the highest stage of love of Godhead, I can't accept anything from you. Or if you still have any anarthas within your heart, then I'm not going to take anything from you. I may have 100 pounds of anarthas, but if I find 5 pounds in you, then I won't take any instruction from you. That's not very helpful. Yes, Amra Jivan Shara Pape Rata Nahiko Punyaro Nesh. That's the song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Thank you, Praveen.
Speaking of songs, is your on-site personnel ready for kirtan, perhaps?
What do you think, Bhakti Philip? You up for it?
Yeah. I should give you a few times. Okay.
Warren, you want to lead kirtans? Swam Jyoti.
I haven't heard your kirtan yet.
Okay. Just try Krishna Kirtan. 5 minutes.
We'll bring up Murai Gupta Prabhu's point in our next class. It's a very good one. It'll take some time, methinks, I hope.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai Om Vishwavad Panamansa Paripajikacharya Ashtottara Sri Srimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadip Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Ki Jai Gangamai Ki Jai Jamunamai Ki Jai Tulsi Devi ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Samaveta Bhaktivinoda ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande.
Hari Hari Bol. Thank you, Maharaj, and thank you, Prabhu, for leading Kirtan. Thank you, everyone, so much for being here for Sri Chaitanya Tamrita. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, His Holiness Jayadvaita Maharaj ki jai.
Samaveta Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol.